Beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine. It's a beautiful day. I'm alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. It is September 29th, a Monday morning. We had a busy weekend. I wasn't with you on Friday. I'm sorry. Although I had a much better time than I would have had I been with you guys. Although, I don't know, I do like our times together, but I did go on Friday. Me and the kiddo, kind of like a continuation of our 13th birthday / because I kind of wanted to. We went to go see Demon Slayer, the movie in 4D. For any anime fans, that shit's dope. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great time, and in 4D, it was actually pretty sick. I thought it would be like a stupid shtick, and it usually is like 4D, but like for like a intense fight movie, like what that is, you're like, oh shit, that's fucking good. It was pretty cool. It was really cool. So yeah, had a lot of fun. But holy shit, was there not a lot in the news cycle this weekend. So we probably won't even touch on all of it today. Maybe get into some of it tomorrow if we don't get pounded with more incoming stuff. But yeah. I also this weekend I thought maybe I might try to squeeze in an extra one for you guys, so I didn't end up having way too much to talk about come today and this week. But then my kid had the soccer, and then plus we had already had plans for a birthday weekend for something, so, but yeah, someone's asking what 4D is. 4D is like, I guess it's like it's almost like it's more of a shtick usually at like I think at like I don't know, theme parks, I guess. It's where they have like I think Universal has them and stuff, where it'll be like the Spider-Man one, where you're on a little thing, and sometimes the roller coaster moves around. Well, this is like just a seats. They move, and they even kind of like, move you around. Kind of almost like, I guess to a much greater degree, but kind of how like gamers will have like the surround sound, and also have the little, rumble seats and rumble little, controllers or whatever. Same idea. So it's just the idea that you're feeling. There's also like the wall, they spit air, water, heat, like all that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit like silly and shticky, but if it's like for the right movie, it's pretty dope. And if you know Demon Slayer and like how their fights work in that and stuff, you're like, oh yeah, it was worth it. It was pretty sick. But yeah, guys, some of you guys may notice I have a QR code up in the top left-hand corner. It's not the QR code for what maybe some of you guys want, but I did. That's the QR code that Jacob made for me recently. So that goes straight to the Patreon. Here, future, I am learning tech now. I will expand that to maybe have other links, maybe Venmo and stuff like that. That way, I know of a lot of people clamoring to give me money, and I'm being a stickler about it, just because I'm being an old fuddy-duddy. But yeah, there is ways for you to pay me right now. Patreon, I will figure. I gotta set up a new Venmo and stuff. Or whatever. Let me know the different payment processes you guys like anyways, because I don't know. I really am kind of like boomer minded when it comes to tech. So I really am like, I know Venmo. Do people even use PayPal? I don't know. But whatever. We have a ton to go through though. We have a ton. But yeah, we have, like I said, a lot. There was like big attacks, I guess you could say, or events. I don't know if they quite rise to the level of deep events, but maybe like minor deep events over the weekend that we have to talk about those. Kind of called that Great Glowing Gladio. I'm saving that probably more towards the end of the episode today. I feel like I want to set the stage. I know it's a little bit bearing the lead, but with everything else going on in the world, I think it makes sense to kind of set the stage for it. We also have Kirk Scrubfest, which is apparently that's been the theme. I've been seeing a lot of stuff. There was some good reporting from Ken that we'll cover of the actual security detail that was supposedly working this event, and some suspicious stuff about that, and other things that seemingly just disappearing, just being scrubbed from the memory. And then as that's all going on, then we also have what looks like, on so many different fronts, like this really is like there's so many different ways to attack it. So it's actually kind of, in a certain sense, for this segment, it actually is almost better that I waited for it to develop a little bit. I am calling this a Zio-fluencer Astroturf season. It was just going to be about this Brylan or whatever the fuck little gay, Zoomer kid name he has, this new Charlie Kirk. But you kind of pair it with everything. We have the TikTok takeover. We've got... there's some stuff that came. I think the Epstein stuff, if you want to be a little bit conspiratorial, which we do, you can kind of tie that into all this stuff, especially Elon's name coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if X gets tied. So point being is I wouldn't be surprised if we see another censorship push. And so just kind of on all fronts, essentially pushing slop and then anything of value they're trying to suppress. So I don't know, get braced for all that. But for me, I actually am kind of welcoming of this idea to some extent. Because I don't really want them to do it, but part of me is like, okay, you want to go back into my element? You want to go where I thrive? Let's fucking go, baby. Let's do it. I'll fucking rape you in Minecraft. Sorry, I gotta be careful because I just was going on about how they're gonna crank up the censoring. I should at least not make say sloppy things like that to where they could just get me real bad. I meant that metaphorically. I didn't mean that literally. Come on. All right, guys, let's do a little introductory or a little video to let's do a little video. This today we're going to learn about, was it Helen Keller or no? I always mix these two up. Amelia Earhart. It's either way. It's just made up bitches. Bitches that fly, bitches that they can't see in here. Come on, it's all made up nonsense. But apparently, just for kind of a little fun little video to watch while the rest of the class shows up, I figured we'd watch. This, which is, I guess Trump had some stuff to say about the Amelia stuff, apparently saying forget Epstein. Amelia is the one to blow it all open. This is the first I'm watching with you guys, so let's see if our minds are about to get fucking blown by the dawn about Amelia Earhart. So let's hear it. I know I'm open to it. I'm open to revisionist history. There's some crazy mind-blowing thing going on with Amelia Earhart, but let's go and watch it. Oh, is it going to make me read it? Okay, it's not one of those ones. Okay, so this is for TikTok. It says, the most shocking discovery, even bigger than Epstein. Trump demands Amelia Earhart's files released. Prepare to be shocked. President Trump called it the most shocking discovery, even bigger than Epstein, during a private briefing with White House correspondent Mark Benson, then ordered all Amelia Earhart records released immediately. Guys, we're getting Amelia Earhart truth. We've all been waiting for it. Nearly 90 years waiting for this, Trump told Benson Epstein was massive. Earhart's files go far beyond truly unprecedented. Her last name looks weird when it's by herself. I don't know why, but let's keep going. Or by itself. Earhart vanished in 1937 on her final flight. Trump said the files will upend what you think you know and shock the world. What do you guys think? What? I've never really even dove into Amelia Earhart theories. I remember them coming up occasionally, and they're fun. Like, okay, whatever. Maybe she's. I don't even know what. I don't even know really what conspiracies come up with. But I vaguely recall them being in the periphery. That being a thing. Like, oh, what really happened to her? I don't know. Maybe she made this island, that island. Let's keep going. Following JFK, MLK, and RFK files, Trump called this the most critical release in history, far bigger than anything before in his briefing with Benson. Amelia Earhart speaks about her first solo flight, it says here. Oh, never mind. I wasn't supposed to read that, I don't think. Files reportedly include secret CIA docs, Navy photos, and Starling eyewitness accounts hidden for decades, now set to drop, sources told Benson. Governments warned this could shake governments. Trump insisted to Benson, the people deserve the full truth. No censorship, no secrets. Trump repeatedly compared it to Epstein, telling Benson, Epstein, this makes that look like a footnote in history. All agencies have 5 days to release every file. No excuses, no delays. This is going to be huge, Trump said in the briefing. Whispers say ER's radio signals were picked up long after its disappearance. Like a movie, folks. Unbelievable stuff, Trump told Benson. I don't know. Who's getting excited about this? I mean, I guess I'm like not excited. But okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm really underselling it. You guys tell me. Is it big shit? Is this big shit? Let's check it through the chat. Say your good mornings. What's up, everybody? Good morning, Bobo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Tilla Spook. Good morning, Negro. He says. Good morning, Jay Tunnels. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tucker Delay. Good morning, Nevsky. Good morning, Hey Say What Now. Good morning, Duke of Earl Bear. I think you guys pulled off N Tower, or maybe not. Actually, you double D'd. Good morning, Jake Moore. Good morning. Good morning, King David. Good morning, Tom33. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Montana. It says, yo, dog, have you seen the Jimmy Dore breakdown of the palm gun shooting? I have not yet. I don't even know what you mean by palm gun. I mean, I'm not sure which one that is. I don't know. Is that the restaurant one? I don't know. We're going to cover that one today here in a little bit. What else we got? Hit the likes, says King David. He is correct. Like. Nevsky's up in this bitch. You guys are already arguing. Microphone, palm gun theory, whatever. Yes. Let me see. Oh, I guess Jimmy Dore did a video on the microphone expansion. That's what it is. Okay, explosion, I mean. Yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. I think Clint actually did one too. So I hit him up and let him know that, like, hey man, I'm kind of in the same place as you. Just kind of like, hey, just so you know, like you're still got your head in with the schizzos, and I'll for the flip side, it's like I know I'm not losing my fucking mind. It's like, okay, Clint's there. I'm not too lost in the sauce. It's not that crazy because it feels like it's a crazy one, but then you think about it, and you're like, that's not that crazy, I guess. I mean, would it really take a whole lot of technical expertise to figure out how to do, like, I mean, they're already doing these small charges, and if you just put some sort of metal something. I don't know. It'd be the aiming thing that'd be the hardest, I guess. But, I mean, there's so much tech shit out these days that I feel like, why not? Why couldn't they figure that out? Good morning, Montana. Good morning. Good morning, GUH Tist. It's quite the name. Good morning, Black Eye. Good morning. Good morning. Cash App is what some people are saying. Cash App. Okay. Good morning, Fat Cats. Good morning. Good morning. Nothing in our current time is bigger than Epstein, says Tom. I kind of agree. Yeah. Do I think there's PSYOP in Michigan? You know what I think, Bobo. Oh, no, I think it's all legit. It's completely organic. Rosa Parks, Helen Keller, Amelia Earhart, and Frank were all fake and gay PSYOPs. Truth. Preach, brother. For sure, Nevsky. Dale Earnhardt was it a PSYOP at least? Good morning, Daniel Boone. Good morning. Good morning, Bug Fights. Good morning. Good morning, PJR. Good morning. Trump will destroy feminism once and for all. Oh, that'd be good. What if it's that America or that Amelia Earhart had a penis? That's what it is. Like, you ladies, you thought you broke through the glass ceiling. Well, you didn't. You didn't. It was a dude. I don't even remember what she supposedly did. Wasn't it like was it a continental flight? Something. There was a few like records she broke or something. I forget. Whatever. But yeah, that's what it is. They were trying to sell feminism, and it was really a dude. That's what it was. Good morning. Or Montana says, if it's insinuating aliens, I'm gonna be hella annoyed unless it leads to flat Earth theory. Oh, that'd be fucking cool. Like, there's no way they go. It'd be more of like a Hollow Earth thing, really, if it was like, oh, she disappeared at like some entrance to Hollow Earth or something. I don't think the administration is quite there yet. They'll flirt with aliens, but I don't think they'll flirt with Hollow Earth quite yet. Morris says being in the civil war between status retards has been a real bummer as of late. Especially when you sometimes see people that are like, oh, you used to like as your influencers, which I guess is good for me, or your influencers or podcasters or whoever. Where you're like, I don't know if they're just like out of touch, and so they're in that sphere. They're like leaning a little bit the wrong way. You're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, no, these You not see which way the wind's blowing? These guys are being faggots. It's coming this way. Stop leaning the wrong way, you retards. But yeah, I mean, it has been a bummer. Although I think a lot of the good people will get with the program pretty soon, if not already. A lot of them are. Hell, I was seeing some posts today, and I've already kind of noticing some of the larger. I can't even, like, a name doesn't necessarily come to mind. A lot of the fence riding types that are leaning more towards, like, oh my God, isn't that so awful type stuff. So, particularly with, like, Israel and stuff. So, yeah. So, point being, I don't know. I could see a dam breaking. I mean, this stupid, the Charlie Kirk thing, the leftist thing. I mean, a lot of these may end up holding a bag, a dumb bag here soon if things keep going the way they're going. I don't know. Just nothing about the current Kirk thing makes a whole lot of sense. And I think a lot of the people, the Pasobic, some of the people who are the quarterings, some people are going to lose, are kind of revealing themselves, I guess. I know people have had these theories, say, especially Poso, for a while now. And then they're like, oh, here he is going super hard in this one. You're like, I don't know. I think maybe he overplayed his hand here. We'll see. But everyone's always pointed out some of his intel connections and how seems a little dubious. You're like, You're like, okay, well, here you go, going really hard on this like a fucking idiot. So, I don't know, whatever. If anyone wants to cash shade, that would be the time to do it. So, I don't know. I think these people might be left holding the bag. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning. Tom says, I don't buy the exploding mic theory simply because the shirt should move backwards, opposite the shot, not upwards towards where the shot's going. Yeah, it's a good point. I guess I'd have to look at it again to get an idea. But yeah, Trump breaking all our theory. So fire, says Montana. Yeah, that'd be sick. Plus, an exploding mic is an inside job. Why would they risk exposing their hand like that? I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways. Sometimes they think. Sometimes there might be a component of, like, we don't care if we get caught later, especially if you do take the Israel perspective, and you know, especially where you see where they're at with things. I mean, there'd be so much obfuscation to that point, and it's kind of this idea that I've always talked about with, like, what I kind of think sort of happened, like OKC, like something else infiltrated, like PACON, and like essentially made it go live, and then they just kind of step away, like make them hold the bag. That's kind of almost what you can kind of see happening with, like, if you were to assume it was like an Israel. If anything, it's like the FBI is probably, let's say theoretically this was Israel, the FBI probably would be behaving this exactly almost like the way they are. Although, let's be real, if it was the CIA, the FBI would probably be acting exactly like they are. If it was the FBI would be acting exactly like they are. Or my point being is that the way that they behave in the cover-up. And essentially the idea is that, like, they're making themselves look gross. So now the more they fucking do this silly cover up, the more they're incentivized to not let the truth be out. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if the truth does come out, it's being filtered through, like, holy shit, look how fucking shitty the FBI is in the meantime. So it's like, it kind of muddies that message from, and they're kind of also at this like pinch time wise. So to where, like, and by the time all the information comes up, all the players, active players, have already kind of moved away, and all these players too. If you are surmising that sort of an entity, they're usually, like, you know, cutouts with cutouts of cutouts of cutouts. Like, so it's like they have plausible deniability, and it's already been filtered through days, weeks, months, and other fucking agencies somewhat taking the blame in the meantime too. So I don't know. I could see that being the case, but I don't know. Nevsky says, I'm more convinced of 30-06 than the conspiratard junk. I don't know, it depends on what you're talking about, the conspiratard junk. Yeah, some of it's pretty fucking retarded for sure. So, someone's talking about shot from the back. What I would like to see is that fucking what would put a lot of things to rest is the video from the back that we still haven't been able to see. So that would put a lot of this to rest, because it's like, to some extent, people are assuming, this is why a lot of people are leaning so much into the explosive thing, is because there were multiple, I guess, avenues short off of, like, no, it's totally was just it wasn't from the back, like, we didn't see an entrance. So essentially there was the, obviously we have people, how do I put this? We have Candace, for example, saying she saw the video, would probably be the best way to put that, because she said she saw the video from the back. There was no exit wound. And so if that is true, I mean, assuming Candace is telling the truth, but the problem is I think a lot of people just kind of assume, well, that would be an insane thing to lie about. But it's like, I mean, I guess it would be, but it's like until we get that video, we don't really know. So it's like that could be false information. We don't know. So now if there was a actual video from the back and he was shot from the back, I feel like, yeah, he'd be able to tell. So that's kind of a big deal. Although I think a lot of people are just kind of writing that off already, just because it would be kind of a crazy thing to lie about if there's a chance a video could come out. But if there's no chance a video could ever come out, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I've always been a little bit suspicious of Candace. I know that seems a little bit crazy to me, but you also can never really assume any piece of information. You should also know what your information rests on as well. And it's like if our information here, so far as like from behind, completely just rests on, if you want to rule out anything coming from behind, you kind of are relying on the Candace statement. So. Which until then, that's all we really got. So I think that's probably why so many people are jumping to the lapel theory as opposed to like a shot, because Candace said otherwise. So, and I agree, that would be a wild thing to fucking lie about. All right, see, yeah, Montana's saying, do we trust Candace? No, I don't trust her either. Trust no one. She's the op, so it's hard to know, says Tao Rose. Good morning, Tao Rose. So, don't trust Big Milk, says Bobo. Black Eye says she has cred, she hasn't spent it yet. Exactly, and that was kind of what I was getting at with Pasovic earlier, with like the cred. Like he has for a long time. People are aware of his background, and from what I'm aware, he's generally been kind of good. But I feel like he's overplaying his hand with this latest nonsense. So whatever. But same thing with Candace. I know her background. I haven't really seen anything that I've ever seen her do that's like overly like, oh my God, she's totally a Fed or something. But it's also like, I don't know. I am aware of her background. I'm aware she's married to like the son of like a Zionist billionaire. They fucking knew each other for like a month and then got married. I knew she came out of some like weird acting casting thingamajig for something or other. She came from a leftist background with I'm aware of all these things, but it's like people do have changes of heart, so you never fucking know. And she does seem pretty genuine, but it is also like, I'm also not retarded. So yeah. So be aware. You can it's like the trust but verify. We can walk and chew gum type thing. So, but I'm fully aware that a lot of people I think maybe are writing off theories based on the fact that Candace said so. So, let me see. All right, let's go ahead and get into. Let's get into some foreign policy. We've said our good mornings to everybody. Everyone hit the like button, help a brother out. Let's get into the foreign policy. Netanyahu tells UN in Israel, or tells the UN that Israel will finish the job in Gaza. So we've had a lot of stuff going on in the UN over the weekend. So let's watch this. Oh, of course, the audio's out. Give me a second. Well, that didn't matter. All right, it's back. Sorry. So it's a walkout. People had a walkout going on here, but essentially in this speech, he did get, eventually did the generic bluster, rah rah rah. Israel will finish it. Here's what he said: the final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th. That is why Israel must finish the job. That is why we want to do so. Then he called for the release of all of them. But yeah, he kind of just gave this rah-rah, we're going to finish them off type speech. We are advancing to the end of the stage of eliminating the Hamas terrorist army. We will continue striking its remnants. So yeah, just kind of this rah-rah, we're going to destroy everything type deal. And and in the meantime, we have people walking out. Here is actually the moment itself. You can see there's a good video of it. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty much just damn near the majority of the delegates for the individuals of the world or the different countries of the world, for the most part, seems almost all of them walked out.
Some in the crowd there that was motivated.
Order in the hall.
And he will take the speech. We will listen to it here, and we'll have analysis for you on the other side.
Please order in the hall. Please order in the hall.
All right, what you're seeing here is the big walkout from the UN General Assembly, Sandra, because this actually has happened before to Prime Minister Netanyahu. You can see that the applause is coming from the Israelis as they sit there and watch these individuals decide that they can't sit and listen to a speech.
And trying to get order as Benjamin Netanyahu looks ready to deliver his speech. He is watching on.
So yeah, couldn't happen to a more deserving person than him. For sure. And then also, what do they got going on? What's going on? Sorry, my computer got lagged for a second. Over the weekend, Israel killed almost 200 people, 198 Palestinians over 3 days. So that was this weekend. So that is the latest. In that same period, another 5 bodies of Palestinians killed in previous attacks were also recovered. So a bunch of people found under the rubble and stuff. This is kind of common in this. So we're reporting regularly. This is what's going on. These are also, I believe, let me see if I can find the percentage. I think they showed, because they tell them they want them to escape and go to the south. And then 46% of deaths were across the strip of southern Gaza, so which is the area that these people are being told to escape to. So almost 50% of the deaths are occurring in the spots that they're being told to escape to. So kind of is what it is, as we've been saying over and over and over and over again. Looks like we're getting some pressure coming from, or at least an idea of a perception of pressure. Let's actually play this video. This is particularly interesting. Trump saying that they were going to stop Israel. Let's see what he had to say.
Did you promise leaders this week that you would not allow Israel to annex the West Bank? And is that something that you?
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. There's been enough. It's time to stop now, okay?
Well, as you can see, the world's pretty fucking pissed off. I guess this happened, this little talk that Trump gave just there, I guess this happened shortly after meeting with some of the Middle Eastern nations in the UN. They seem none too happy, as you would expect, and now we're getting this tough talk. He's not going to let them do it. Meanwhile, they're doing it anyways. But we also newly emerged a new 21-point plan for the Gaza takeover after all this. So I don't know what to make of this. This is another one of these little pieces, with the stopping, they're theoretically stopping the invasion of the West Bank, the annexing of the West Bank. We're getting this what almost seems to be a too good to be true plans. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, something actually happened. I guess we can be hopeful, although I'm kind of doubtful. Let's go ahead and go through it. The U.S. has presented a 21-point proposal for ending Israel's genocide in Gaza, which encourages Palestinians to remain in the Strip and claims to provide for the creation of a pathway to a future Palestinian state, the Times of Israel reported on 27 September. A document outlining the proposal was shared by the U.S. with Arab and Muslim countries earlier this week on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Consistent with previous U.S. plans concerning Gaza, the proposal calls for the release of all 48 Israeli captives held by Hamas, as well as the resistance movement's ouster from power. In exchange, several hundred Palestinian security prisoners serving life sentences, over 1,000 Palestinians detained in Gaza since the start of the war, and the bodies of several hundred Palestinians would be released. The new proposal explicitly encourages Palestinians to remain in Gaza, in a stark departure from President Donald Trump's previous comments on the matter, and in opposition to explicit efforts by Israeli leaders to ethnically cleanse the Strip. Trump had previously called for Gaza to be emptied of its roughly 2 million Palestinians and rebuilt as the Riviera of the Middle East. While the president's allies in Tel Aviv regularly call for the destruction of Gaza to make life unbearable and ensure that Palestinians would have no choice but to voluntarily migrate. The proposal also includes a clause calling for potential pathway to a future Palestinian state led by a reformed Palestinian Authority. This contradicts Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's insistence that he will never allow the establishment of a Palestinian state. This is actually a wild one. For those who understand the dynamics of the Zionist state and Palestine and the West Bank and how these things interact, the idea of any sort of Palestinian Authority being the ones who are allowed to reign over Gaza would be a unifying factor, since they're also the ones who are over the West Bank, and this would very much pave the path for an actual Palestinian state. So this is why people are looking at this story I'm reading now and going, what? Okay, but I know, let's go on. However, the clause doesn't provide details regarding the Palestinian reform program, is not definitive regarding when the pathway to statehood can be established, the Times of Israel wrote. One clause stipulates that Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza, and the Israeli army will gradually withdraw from the Strip, handing power to a newly established international stabilization force. Powerful ministers in Netanyahu's cabinet, Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, have called for annexing both the West Bank and Gaza to block the establishment of a Palestinian state and to continue expanding Jewish settlements. The Israeli outlet said the proposal was mainly crafted by U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, with input from Trump's son-in-law, New York real estate developer Jared Kushner, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, who partnered with the U.S. and Israeli leaders to orchestrate the illegal invasion of Iraq in 2003. Obviously, the hairs in the back of your neck should prick up when you hear that Jared Kushner has any involvement whatsoever in this. So, I don't know. Though the proposal includes clauses that appear to be concessions to Palestinians, it also includes clauses that Israel's long demanded and Hamas has opposed. Those include a commitment for Hamas to disarm, the demilitarization of Gaza, and the establishment of a process to de-radicalize the population, the Times of Israel wrote. Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence will be allowed to stay in Gaza, while others will be deported to foreign countries willing to receive them. Aid will be allowed to flow into the state at a rate of 600 trucks per day to be distributed by the UN, the Red Crescent, and international aid groups, potentially including the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which Israel established with U.S. assistance. Machinery to remove rubble would also be allowed to enter the enclave. Gaza will be governed by a temporary transitional government of Palestinian technocrats supervised by a new international body. The Financial Times reported on Friday that Tony Blair is seeking a senior role in the transitional government. The PA would play no initial role, but may be involved in governing Gaza later, following the above-stated reform process. Obviously, I feel that form process is a big quotes, but even if this is partially true, I think this sounds great to me. I'm very jaded, and I struggle to buy this, but we'll see. President Trump promoted the plan on Friday in his social media outlet, Truth Social. He stated that intense negotiations have been going on for 4 days and will continue for as long as necessary to get a successfully completed agreement. All of the countries within the region are involved. Hamas is very much aware of these discussions, and Israel has been informed at all levels, including Prime Minister Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu, he added. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I am hopeful. I mean, this sounds pretty cool. But now I guess more to like, what the fuck on the flip side of this, what is going on? I'm kind of interested. I know I have a good group of you guys who are also, veterans like me or whatever. And so some of you guys, especially having maybe some combat or this or that. Actually, I don't even really make a difference. This is like a brass type thing. This story seeded out last week, some point. I forget when, but there's all these reports. Didn't really cover on this show because it's kind of like, I don't really know what to make of it. But I guess now Trump is also getting ready to attend this meeting that Pete Hegseth is putting together of basically all the top generals and admirals. They're saying hundreds of generals and admirals. So now Trump's also attending this. But it's a lot of people point out it's just bizarre that Hegseth would even do this. It seems bizarre to me. I've never heard of anything of any military when I was of doing this sort of large congregation of top brass, but apparently they're doing it now. I've heard a lot of the lefties have already equated to, what was it I forget what. There's some Nazi fucking something or other parallel they made where I guess they were some of the generals were brought in to make oaths to the new, to essentially no longer serve the old Constitution and the new whatever the fuck, I forget, whatever. A lot of people have brought that, I don't know, that seems a little bit outlandish to me, that Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump are like going to be like Vader and Darth Sidious sitting in a dark room, and each one by one who go, oh, swear to me. I don't know, I guess that could be the case, but I guess the rumors being floated out is that, and not even necessarily rumor, I think Hegseth has kind of said this, is that he's essentially giving a speech about warrior ethos and basically a big new push for, I guess, dress and appearance standards and stuff like that. Essentially, which I gotta be honest, I gotta give a little bit of credence from like understanding how the faggotry works in the military and how they do this gay shit. Considering, I was thinking about a while ago that just a simple transition from Department of Defense to Department of War, that's pretty big. And the military always likes to do this, like, it seems like every couple years they have some new, like, campaign for, like, we're going to understand our warrior ethos, or some gay shit like that. I could totally see, and now doing this a transition as large as, completely changing the entire Department of Defense's name, and essentially the idea of, like, well, what does this mean? What is our core values? Like, I could totally see them making a huge, faggoty deal about this, essentially. This is 100% something the military would do, doing something this big. So now, if I had to guess, I have a feeling there's going to come give this big speech about what it means to be, war fighters, and to be, now we're going to be lethal, rah, rah, rah. Like, what does that mean, and how we can carry forward this message into our units, and rah, rah, rah. Like, it's going to be that type of gay, corporate, faggoty military speak. Would be my guess. Who knows? Maybe they're either coming to get him to swear oaths to the new Führer. I don't fucking know. Maybe we're getting ready to go to war with Iran. This seems a little bit flamboyant for something like that. A lot of people said that. I actually think it might be genuinely this super gay thing that Pete Hegseth is doing. And frankly, he should be called out. For anyone in the military or anyone with any know-how of large organizations' work should actually be like, yo, dude, this is gay. This is super gay. Anyone who's worked on the ground level of anything like this is like, wow. I mean, to some extent, like, this is the generals and like the top brass that are being like, I don't know, essentially inconvenienced by this. So I like, to some extent, I'm like, fuck you, losers, because I don't like those guys. Those guys suck. Like, so I'm like, whatever. Yeah, screw you. You don't get to go to your daughter's, fucking clarinet recital. You got to go fucking fly into Washington to go listen to Hegseth's speech. But at the same time, it's like, well, the government's paying for all of that. So this is just a huge, just rampant, taxpayer waste. And if you are someone who's concerned about them being efficient with their money or producing something from the money they take from us, it's like, well, you are definitely impeding on that to an incredible degree right now, like ridiculously. So yeah, but at the same time, I completely can buy it that this is just so that way he can get some cool photos and videos of him with really cool speeches. I hope they're tone deaf enough to do the Biden thing, because that'd be super cool. The Biden thing where he did that, this speech where he had like the Führer lighting. I hope they lean into it. It'd be pretty cool. But I don't. Yeah, I do think that's probably what's going to be happening. I think it's probably just going to be a little gay get together gaggle that anyone that spent any time in the military is thoroughly familiar with. But I just think at a ridiculous degree. I think he'll probably have some rah-rah speech, and then every one of these, generals and stuff will probably have some sort of gay little warrior day or something on their individual bases and units, and they'll have to then parrot the nonsense that Pete Hegseth said to them, and then fucking like little birds fucking right into their fucking little fucking retard enlisted men's mouths. That'll be probably what's going to be happening, and really all it is so that Pete Hegseth can look cute on the gram. That's really all that it is. But and then other news, we also are probably going to go order with Russia. Apparently now we're cool with supplying Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles. J.D. Vance is out here saying this shit. I guess he said in an interview on Sunday that Trump was considering the possibility of supplying Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles. I mean, apparently we're already greenlit the idea of them like, yeah, you can just go ahead and do long range shit, to the point that, but hey, as long as we're not, as long as it was not us directly giving it to you, as long as someone else buying it through us. So that's where we're at. we're in bizarre times. Let's check the chat, see what you guys gotta say. I'm interested to see your guys' thought. Went through a lot. Montana saying the husband seems sketchball of Candace. Someone saying the behind view probably shows the entrance and is hard to see. Yeah, I will actually. I guess to give Candace an out here, she could have seen it and there could have been an entrance, and then she just somehow missed it because of the angle or whatever. Because yes, entrances are like entrance wounds are almost sometimes like almost like a pinpoint, like you can barely tell. So. Because, I mean, it's kind of like going in and the shape of the bullet's almost like, kind of slips in and then kind of like almost like nothing happened. It's the outside after it's lost force and the kind of the energy that's kind of follows behind it that kind of is being pulled along with it. So yeah, there's a possibility, I guess, Candace could have seen the back and there could have been an entrance somehow, but she didn't see it. I don't know. Seems weird to me. Let me see what else. Aggressively agreeing says this is genocide. It sure is. John Black says the Charlie Kirk rabbit hole's on my to-do list, but I'm having a good time watching Ryan Mata's ex shit posting about it. Yeah, I mean it's okay. All right, what else we got in here? Over half of Gaza's underage too, says Tal Rose for sure. 33 people earlier in here, only 18 likes. Bump that shit up. There's more of y'all in here now. There's almost 40 y'all, so hit that like button, people. Oh, good morning, No Hawalo. I think it's the first I've seen you. It says ChatGPT says only about 1,660 Israelis have been killed in this conflict, not counting 10-7. It also has foreign nationals in that figure. Yep. Hit the like button or you love Zog, or hit it if you do like Zog too, but it might be counter to your goals. I'm against that shit. What else we got in here? Good morning everybody. Good morning, Aiden Kelly. First I'm seeing you in here saying Candace is a grifter. Perhaps. Nevsky says I'm guessing some generals will be fired after this meeting. Why does my QR code look like a cube from Hellraiser? Is it going to leave Cenobites on us? Yeah, click the QR code. Click the QR code, guys. Click the QR code. Good morning, Seth. Says Chris Martinson has done the best overview of Charlie Kirk by far. I'll have to check it out. I keep hearing that. He's a mutual of mine. I've the few times I've seen some of his work, I've always thought, it seems pretty good. So I'll have to check it out. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the next topic. Let's see. Netanyahu meets with pro-Israel influencers in New York, describes social media as a weapon for Israel. So this seems like it's a perfect little segue from one topic to the other, getting into the Zio-influencer game. So Netanyahu met with pro-Israel influencers after a speech at the UN General Assembly in New York on Friday. His office said that he spoke with influencers about the challenges in the new era and the public diplomacy efforts and the influence of the social networks on the discourse for and against Israel. Let's see if I can find the link. I had it earlier. I think I accidentally clicked out of it. I'll just watch the video. Let's watch the video. Here it is right here. Let's watch this because this one's pretty wild and it ties perfectly into everything else we're going to be talking about.
Something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirk's assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, my first mentor in the space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora? So something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party.
All right, excellently played that. So
then I guess I'm curious backup plan to be strong. All
right, what the hell didn't they show the response there? Here's the response.
Influencers? Okay. Christian influencers? Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant. The woke Reich, because these people You know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're movies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class
Followers.
TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yeah.
Okay, so that's you hear him in this. For one, just the fact that we're having these little influencer meetings is just kind of funny. And then also, here he is talking about TikTok, obviously that they're getting ready to take over TikTok. And then here's Secretary Leavitt saying this about a week ago, talking about how TikTok's what that means for the administration too.
The official deal later this week at some point. Under the terms of this deal, TikTok will be owned by a majority of American investors and controlled by a board of directors with extensive national security and cybersecurity credentials in partnership with the U.S. government. Will serve as TikTok's trusted security provider, and they will independently monitor the safety and data security of all U.S. user data on TikTok's platform. Americans' data will be stored securely in the United States without access from China. All U.S. user data will be stored on servers operated by Oracle in the United States, protected from surveillance or interference by foreign adversaries.
Protected by Oracle, okay.
And the algorithm, I know this is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control. And TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa. While I don't have a number on the specific deal, we do expect that thanks to the president's leadership and the securement of this historic deal, businesses using TikTok will generate as much as $178 billion in economic activity within the U.S. over the next 4 years. So this is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use this very fun app. But it's also great news for all of the small business owners who have really been able to make a living off of the use of TikTok.
All right. And then we also have J.D. Vance. What was this? 4 days ago, chiming in as well.
First of all, I would say all credit goes to the Secretary of the Treasury. Couldn't have got it done without Scott. Also couldn't have got it done without Sean Cooksey on my team, so thanks to them. The company will be valued around $14 billion. We actually think this is a good deal for investors, but ultimately the investors are going to make the determination about what they want to invest in and what they think is a proper value. The most important thing is that it does protect Americans' data security. It ensures TikTok is still accessible. And on this question of the algorithm, which we've heard this a lot, what this deal ensures is that the American entity and the American investors will actually control the algorithm. We don't want this used as a propaganda tool by any foreign government. We want to make sure that our people and our investors actually make these decisions based on what's good for their business as opposed to what's good for another government's propaganda arm. So that's what we've done with this deal. I think it's very good for the American people. And as the president said, young people love this. We actually want everybody to access this, whether they're MAGA or not. We just want it to be fair. We want it to be fair to everybody, and we think that's what's going to happen with this new.
Just a coincidence. It's going to Americans who just happen to be obsessed with Israel. Just coincidence. Just a coincidence. No conflict of interest there. So, man, yeah, we've got everybody saying it without saying it. Now, I don't know. I'm a little torn on this, as I said before, especially TikTok. It's like, oh no, you're going to bring the Zoomers into longer form content. But I think I also think it's just like it's going to be diminishing returns for these people. They think, oh, we'll just buy TikTok and fix things. Like, well, no, you're just going to get more of this.
Imagine supporting people who start wars just to lose the wars so they can cry about it and then try it all again.
You must see anti-Semites are literally obsessed with Jews. Now walk with me. While you must see anti-Semites are stacking eviction notices, Jews are out here stacking up businesses.
Jews control all the industries. Maybe if you spent more time taking notes from successful people, you wouldn't have to spend your nights and weekends spreading hate from your anonymous account with an anime profile picture.
Do you work as hard as Jews? Do you network like Jews? No, because you're too busy cheering on a group of musty terrorists who smell like dirty earring backs. And if we're going to keep it real, you're really mad because your income is giving side hustle.
Period.
How you going to hate from outside, Shabbat? You can't even get in.
I don't know about you, but that didn't really hit for me. I don't know if this really, as Dave pointed out here, this is from Dave Smith. He posted it. Said, honestly, who's this supposed to appeal to? These right here, too, are actually two prominent influencers. These are ones that were involved in that whole Ackman story. It was like Xavier DeRusso and then I think Olivia Austin, I think. Yeah, these are your... I don't even know what they're supposed to be attached. They're like loosely always attached to like PragerU, conservative Christian vibe. Like, I don't know how this is a thing because it's like it's very obvious. This is vapid, childish... Just frankly, obviously, let's be real. I mean, I don't know if he's hiding for it, if he's open or not, but he's frankly gay. Like, I mean, this is like, not that I necessarily care, but it's just is like, everything about this is like against what you think you're supposed to be. As like, actually, funny enough, I put out a tweet over the weekend. It did okay. And I was like, I just was kind of a weird musing of mine. Because I was watching, because Erica Kirk showed up on the Charlie Kirk show, I think like Friday or something, and I was just like, I wonder what she's going to say. Nothing of interest, to be honest. But I just popped in and just tried to like, and just like through it, I had to like incidentally listen to the people there. And I don't know if it's their normal cast or what, but just, like I posted, I was like, I just found it curious that like how effeminate the men who surrounded Charlie Kirk were. And it's just, and it was like, I don't know what to make of this, but it's an interesting data point. And like, I don't know, that is an interesting data point. I think there's something to, I mean, I think maybe, and funny enough, even with like a Kirk, like the circles he was in, like he was a little bit different. Now, if you're like this, what these people are leaning into, this just pure, just money buying influence, this is what you're getting. This is vapid nonsense. Like, and I think it's, I mean, say with like the Kirk grift and some of those, let's be real, those fruity fellas, I think maybe people are able to get by that for whatever reason. But it's just like, you get to a point where it's like so opposite of what is reality. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's also something to do with like the track that people take. Because I mean, I don't know. Like most influencers aren't your salt of the earth middle class like guys. It is going to be people who, you know, took like the TPUSA route where they like their daddy got him into a good college, and then they went to this conservative, you know, fucking sorority or fraternity, and then from there they did. And it's like that doesn't produce macho men. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Produce soft men is what it produces. So. And I just think, I don't know, maybe this is something to do there. I'm just, in my head, I just think people are rejecting this. I just think people are rejecting it, especially if you're trying to be like, oh, I'm Mr. Conservative Christian, have children, love your wife, you know, work hard. Like, this is all not that. Just not that. And it's just, it's weird to, just the disconnect. But despite all that, we're getting we're getting they're doing it anyways. They're cranking out the new influencers. The weekend was fun. A lot of people were pointing out this guy, Bryland Hollyland. Now this right here, what I'm about to show you, is an hour after Donald Trump announced that Kirk was dead. So an hour after, basically, roughly after Kirk died. Or that it was known publicly that he's died. And it's funny enough, man, a lot of people gave me shit about some of the stuff I said, but holy fucking shit, this is weird. Watch this. This is weird. Especially if this is some 18-year-old college kid who's kind of a Kirkette, I guess. So just watch it. It's something. Of course the audio's out. Give me a minute. Do that. Let's do this again. Was it out on the gay people too? Was it out for the gay guys? Let me see. Was it out? Was it out for that? Let me see if I see anybody complaining in the chat. No, I didn't see any complaining. So hey, at least it held through for that, because I'm pretty sure I checked for that. So just making sure. All right, now let's watch this. Let's watch this now.
It's also an incredible story that you share with us really quick, about fourth grade, a podcast. That's incredible. And Charlie Kirk appears on your podcast. Tell me about the role he played for you as a mentor.
Yeah, again, it's somebody that didn't have to do that. He was on Fox News every other hour that year. He didn't have to make time for me as an 11-year-old with this upcoming podcast in the fourth grade to come on and join me, but he did. And not only was it a one-time thing, I've interviewed hundreds of people that I've never talked to again. He stayed a mentor, and he texted me up until this week when I was on another Fox show congratulating me. Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have given me his competition. He could have said, oh, I'm not going to give this kid time, but he did. And what I think the larger theme here is the left loves to preach tolerance. They love to preach tolerance. And in situations like this, that's the last thing we're seeing. The media coverage on the other side of the aisle is not like this. I was just scrolling through channels, and obviously the person that took this life, this is heartbreaking, Will. And I really hope, if anything, that people get off the sidelines. This weekend, I'm going to a youth rally in South Carolina, and you better believe that I've already had my team shoot me text saying, Brown, you really need to caution this. You really need to think about not standing in the middle of a park and speak to the next generation. But I am more energized than ever to carry on this torch, to carry on this legacy, because that's what Charlie would have wanted. He would have wanted us to continue to fight the good fight, just like he did.
No doubt, Brylan. No doubt. Thank you so much.
What do you guys think of Brylan? I just get him just like a Brylan. We're just done. Like, I know, I guess whatever. Maybe there's some great Brylans out there, but Jesus Christ, Brylan. Like, did you lose me? Like, I was thinking about, like, Charlie Kirk. What a great fucking name that guy had. What a great name. Like, Kirk feels, like Irish or something? Like, just feels strong. Feels, like, tied to, like, like working class America. Like, Charlie. I know Charlie is such a good, like, Charlie Brown, Charlie, just this word association, Charlie, just great branding. And this guy, they decided to go with, like, yeah, let's go with Brylan Hollyhand. Like, what the fuck? What kind of operation are these guys running? It's just, I don't know. Just even just on, like, just base level, like, branding. You're like, what are you doing? Like, you would think someone, like, hey, this guy's the new Charlie Kirk. Yeah, you gotta change his fucking name. You need to change his name. His name's fucking horrid. Brylan Hollyhand. It sounds like a gay man. Like, that sounds like some sort of, like, gay performer's name, if I had to guess. Like, Brylan Hollyhand. Like some, like, Zoomer fucking dude porn star. But yeah, it's an awful name. But this is some kid who gets behind daddy's money, apparently. But yeah, within an hour, he's going on more energized to carry on the torch. And to add to the spookiness on this, he went on 3 other shows that very same day doing the exact same thing. Like, this guy has been, like, activated all of a sudden. Like, you look at his account. I mean, I'm not gonna go through all of it, but if we're playing the digging into metrics game, everyone's pointed out that, like, there's already been tons of things of, like, oh, look, here he is with a couple 100,000 followers. Like, even just graphs of interest in Brylan Hollyhand. And just, like, spiking. But he's clearly being astroturfed to the moon. But you will find nothing online but people just making fun of him and having the funnest of times. Frankly, I kind of like this because I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, fucking give me Brylan. I will fucking wreck Brylan. Fucking feed me Brylan. Like, I'm at the spot where I'm like, I don't know. Whatever fucking game he's playing, I feel like they would shield him from him. But like, I could get, if I could get a Brylan, if like I don't even know what the topic would be, but if it's like my point being is these guys are not ready. They're entering a new sphere. They're trying the old tricks, and it's like Brylan is like a lamb to the slaughter, metaphorically speaking, to be very clear, given today's climate. And it just like he just needs one good feeding to one person that disagrees with him that can eviscerate the old thing. I don't know. Maybe they'll be smart enough to keep him away from that. But even despite that, even if they don't, I don't see this going anywhere. And it's just the more they try this, the more it backfires. And so like part of me just enjoys the spectacle of it. And so this is fun. And I'm also at this level where I'm like, I could almost see myself or being in the sphere of people who might get an opportunity to just eviscerate Brylan before he disappears back into obscurity. But yeah, so this is
an incredible story.
But yeah, this guy's been running around on all sorts of fucking. Now he's on a college tour to like sold out college tours and stuff. He's doing the whole Charlie Kirk thing. So we have these people, but meanwhile in the real world, we're seeing stuff like this.
So there's a lot of videos and claims out there, like conspiracy theories, like Nick Fuentes talks about them a lot about Israel. And some of them seem kind of true, but it's hard to find true information anywhere. Where would you find good, true,
great question. That is a great question. I'm sure you guys all have this experience, right? Like, what's real? You hear people who you respect, like, saying stuff that sounds like crazy. And you're like, did we land on the moon? Oh, right? They can make you rethink anything. And it is an ongoing battle. It's going to be a really hard battle for all of you because you're young and you're going to have years of dealing with this. My advice to you is to find one or two people who you know you can trust. And you'll know those people because they will tell you the bad news for your side. They will not just keep whispering sweet nothings in your ear every day when you turn on their podcast or the news or what have you. And once you find those two people, stick with them. Don't trust a platform that has an agenda that's got corporate backers. You know, when I was at Fox, I did not realize that we were funded by Pfizer, but we were. There was a reason we weren't allowed to say certain things on the air. You tried to talk about what was causing autism and whether it was a vaccine back in 2005 at Fox News. It was not going to happen. So I would recommend choosing someone from the independent lane. Of course, I'm biased, but I submit to you I'm an option for you. Ben Shapiro's another great option for you. There's a bunch of us in this lane who you can trust. And then stick with those people who don't get too out there, unless that's just your jam for fun. But I will say, once you sort of let those earworms get in there, it can kind of corrupt your thinking. So choose people who are super factual.
Thank you. Jesus is Lord.
Amen.
Okay, well, now this one, I'll be honest, I thought this would be a little more contentious because as I tell you guys many times with the show, I don't always watch everything or read everything beforehand. If anything, I tend to try not to. That's what the show is for, mostly, so I can kind of go through this stuff that I've kind of just seen. I bookmark all this stuff, and then we'll come back to it later together. Now, I had seen some of these videos. Now this one I did think was funny just because the hook of it, just that the end is like asked her where to find true info about Israel, and she recommends Ben Shapiro. Now I didn't quite get at what I wanted to drive at, and so I just going to let you know. Maybe I'll bring up on a following episode or something. There's a couple other videos I have bookmarked, but apparently she's been getting kind of on her tours now. She's starting to get flack, much like Charlie Kirk got back in the day. They sort of flack from the Groypers, particularly asking about things like Israel. And so I just more want to, for one, just kind of so this is the real dynamic I think of. Like, and to be fair, this is probably a little bit accentuated, but I think this is more like, hey, this is what the people. Like, hey, you're not going to be able to play these games. Like this idea that you're going to keep this censorship matrix they're trying to create and, perpetuate, you're going to see it bubble it back in ways like this. And I think Megyn Kelly actually has responded to this already, saying stuff like, friends, enemies, like, oh, you guys need to know who's a friend and who's not, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, this is what this is where they're at. And if they want to harass you and point out how god-awful you are on Israel, and this is someone like Megyn Kelly, who I think is like kind of like wishy-washy, then it's like, no, I'm sorry. Apparently your audience is finding it, and yeah, you might be like, oh, well, I'm kind of wishy-washy. Yeah, because people are probably identifying weakness and noticing that you don't have a firm stance and are showing, if anything, that probably shows some sort of, I don't even know the specifics of Megyn's stance on this, but people are are probably seeing someone who's in an area where it's like something about your position is on shaky ground, and that's probably why they are lambasting you. And it may seem mean, and it is a little bit bullying, but it's also part of like, well, then like we see, like you either are going to have to fucking commit to being a shill, or you're going to have to deal with this, or you commit to being a shill and deal with this, or you're going to have to do something. And this is the real dynamic that these people are going to be dealing with. So I keep on keeping on. But to kind of a more to the dynamics pushing against the truth, you could say. I find this a little bit concerning. This is from Ken Klippenstein. Says a new directive called NSPM7 targets anti-capitalism, anti-Christian, and anti-American opinions as indicators of extremist violence, authorizing an army of 4,000 counter-terrorism officers to prevent crimes that haven't happened. Which, by the way, apparently these are an ongoing things. They're NSPM's National Security Presidential Memorandums. And like you can see here, the last one is literally confidential or classified or whatever. You can't even see it. And then you look at the other ones. The first one was Organization of the National Security Council. Okay, so we see all these different ones. Okay. Here's a tweet from Stephen Miller saying, "We are witnessing domestic terrorist sedition against the federal government. The JTTF has been dispatched to the Attorney General pursuant to the NSPM 7. All necessary resources will be utilized." So, yeah, let's read through this to get a better idea of what exactly all of that even means, because it is confusing. What the fuck does that mean? I'm not even 100% entirely sure, but I find it concerning. Now, once again, this is from Ken, so make sure you're filtering it through what you know of Ken. This isn't from me, but with the mainstream media distracted by the made-for-TV drama of James Comey's indictment, Trump has signed a little-noticed national security directive identifying anti-Christian and anti-American views as indicators of radical left violence. Called the National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, it is being referred to as NSPM 7 by administration insiders. This is the first time in American history there's an all of government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism, Trump's Homeland Security Advisor Trump Miller said, referring to the issuance. To the extent that the major media noticed the directive at all, they even incorrectly labeled it as an executive order, like this week's designation of Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. It's hard to overstate how much different NSPM 7 is from the over 200 executive orders Trump has frantically signed since coming back into office. An executive order publicly lays out the course of day-to-day federal government operations, whereas a national security directive is a sweeping policy decree for the defense, foreign policy, intelligence, and law enforcement apparatus. National security directives are often secret, but in this case, the Trump administration chose to publish NSPM 7, only the seventh since he's come into office. Previous national security directives have been controversial, even politically earth-shaking. In 1980, for example, President Jimmy Carter signed the top-secret Presidential Directive 59, directing new nuclear warfighting policies that persisted to the end of the Cold War. When revealed, PD 59 caused a public furor. Similarly, George W. Bush signed a series of classified national security directives after 9/11. The most famous of which authorized NSA's unlawful domestic intercepts, a directive that wasn't publicly revealed until 4 years later. In NSPM 7, President Trump directs the Justice Department, the FBI, and other national security agencies and departments to fight his version of political violence in America, retooling a network of joint terrorism task forces to focus on leftist political violence in America. This vast counterterrorism army made up of federal, state, and local agents would, as Trump aide Stephen Miller said, form the central hub of that effort. NSPM 7 directs a new national strategy to disrupt any individuals or groups that foment political violence, including before they result in violent political acts. So that's getting sketchy. Foment before they result. What does that mean? Obviously, if you're making legitimate threats, it's already illegal. So, I mean, it's a little bit confusing. In other words, they're targeting pre-crime, to reference Minority Report. Trump administration isn't only targeting organizations or groups, but even individuals and entities whom NSPM 7 says can be identified by any of the following indicators of violence: anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, extremism on race, extremism on gender, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, hostility toward those who hold traditional American views on religion, and hostility toward those who hold traditional American views on morality. There are probably at least a couple of those I just want to point on the list that I would, be willing to accept as labels for myself, and ones that people would, spuriously apply to me. No problem. I've been called anti-American. Depending on what you mean by that, I might be willing to accept the label. Funny enough, even anti-capitalism. I consider myself an anarcho-capitalist. I'm very much a capitalist in the believing in private property and stuff. Funny enough, if you've read anyone who's read enough theory of like left, right, capitalism, socialism, do you know how many? Go fucking. I beg of you. Go if you've never listened to a socialism versus capitalism or capitalism versus communism debate. Go check it out. I could guarantee you, damn near fucking half of them, if not more, probably spend half the time hemming and hawing over what the fuck capitalism even is. The funny thing is, literally there are strains of libertarian thought and other theories thought they consider themselves anti-capitalist while actually technically holding the same exact tenets of belief as other people who consider themselves capitalists simply because of how they define it. For example, the agorists, Konkinians, or Konkin preferred to consider his belief system as anti-capitalist, and the reason why is because he liked to, when he thought of capital, he thought it was silly. He thought essentially considering using capitalists in the way that we do now colloquially was silly, in that the way that capitalism first came about was it was a term used by the socialists to refer to like the Rockefellers, the robber barons of the world. State capitalism, a very specific thing. If anything, it was like it was a way to ridicule them. Like they were people of capital. They had large amounts of capital. These were, the robber barons. These people with these unique connections to government that enabled them to behave in certain ways. These people, this is what they considered the socialists of old. Like when they were speaking of capitalists, that's what they're referring to. If anything, the word capitalist was meant to be like ridicule them, like large amounts of capital. And then so Konkin was like, well, we're against state capitalism. Because we are. He's like, so he's like, we're anti-capitalist. So he was against it. Point being is, the funny thing though, is if you looked at his economic beliefs, they're they're probably 99.99% similar. They're actually probably 100% the same as, for the most part, as Rothbard, who considered himself a capitalist. It literally is just completely semantic. Obviously Christianity, I think it's silly that if you're against Christianity that you should be in this. Support of the overthrow, I could totally be for that, depending on what that means. I'm an anarchist. I don't think the United States government should exist. Now, am I supporting an overthrow? Probably not, because those usually don't end well. But it depends on what you mean by overthrow. I'm not necessarily a migration extremist. Plenty of people have considered me an extremist on race. Plenty of people have considered me extremist on gender. This is all just so arbitrary. But yeah, this is the United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment political violence so that law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracies before they result in violent political acts. The directive states. A pre-crime endeavor, preventing attacks before they happen, is core to the post-9/11 concept of counterterrorism itself. No longer satisfied to investigate acts of terrorism after the fact to bring terrorists to justice, the Bush administration adopted preemption. Overseas, that led to aerial assassination by drones and special operation kill missions. Domestically, led to a counterterrorism campaign whose hallmark was excessive and illegal government surveillance and the use of undercover agents and confidential human sources to trap and entrap would-be terrorists. Now, with Donald Trump's directive retooling the counter-terror apparatus to go after Americans at home, this means monitoring political activity or speech as an investigative method to discover radicalism. The focus on speech is evident throughout NSPM 7. The directive says that political violence is the result of organized campaigns that often begin dehumanizing targets in anonymous chat forums, in-person meetings, social media, and even educational institutions. Yeah, me and you right now are involving in organized campaigns. Any of you watching this, I called a lot of people homos today. I called a lot of people queers, fags. I mean, I don't mean literally they're gay, but I mean, you know what I mean. But I've said a lot of mean things about people today. That's what we're doing right here. I'm very much voicing my displeasure too about a lot of people. To give a sense of how broad this formulation is, Trump's earlier designation of Antifa as a domestic terrorist group was accompanied by a White House fact sheet singling out people who celebrated Luigi Mangione, the alleged killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last December. As I wrote at the time, that describes a lot of Americans. Trump's new national security memorandum also alludes to Mangione, but adds that to it even larger categories of potential targets. This is fundamentally a law enforcement directive and dispenses with the complications of using the active duty military or the National Guard in pursuit of political violence. Do you guys remember all these different cities being rolled out with the National Guard troops? Find it a little bit creepy. Directs the DOJ to focus the FBI's approximately 200 Joint Terrorism Task Force, JTTFs, to the new mission. This sounds like PatCon fucking reduxed here. The FBI network of task forces comprises over 4,000 members, including FBI personnel and task force officers from more than 500 state and local agencies and 50 federal agencies, including special agents, police officers, intelligence agents, analysts, and surveillance technicians. First established in New York City in 1988 to systematize FBI and NYPD cooperation. Today, there are task forces around the country. All right, I'm done with this, but I'm not, we're kind of just, continuing on with it. But yes, I mean, I don't really know enough to what to make of this, but I find it as creepy. And as I said online, I think for us especially, I'd say I'd get ready for glowies trying to get into GCs and new glowy accounts popping up. So I also wouldn't be surprised if we see some new suppression coming here soon. What they mentioned Elon earlier, and that Netanyahu did, and I find it interesting, as we're going to get into here in a little bit, some of the news that came out over the weekend. So I wouldn't be surprised if we also see social media censorship here soon. Let's roll to the chat. Spend a minute checking with you guys. Good morning, Gautis. He says pronounced like autis with a G. I drive for work, don't get much time to engage in chat, but I love lurking here. Jose, I love the content. Thank you, Gautis. Good morning, Tony Shin. Good morning. Let me see. Who else we got here? Good morning, Romulus. Says Netanyahu using James Lindsay talking points. It's so over for him. Yeah, not going good. Good morning, Elliot James. Good morning. Bobo, did you find anyone to be a guest on Wednesday? You mean Tuesday? Are you talking about Are You Dead? No, I have not. I had someone in mind, but if you guys still have someone else, feel free to do your thing online. I have not found someone for Already Dead on Tuesday. I don't know about Wednesday. I have Nick Bryant coming back on Wednesday, or coming on Wednesday. He was supposed to be on last week, had to reschedule. I did an episode with Ken that's actually dropping today, dropping a little bit earlier than normal for my paywalled stuff, so don't get used to that. I only did it early just because the Ryan Rell stuff was kind of timely since he just got found guilty or whatever. But yeah, I have a Ken episode dropping here in like 40 minutes on YouTube. It's already available everywhere else, but I haven't got anybody for that. But I do have, tonight I'm going on the 6G podcast, I think. And then Wednesday night I have a paywalled episode. So for the patrons, if you guys want to get that, hey, or for the non-patrons, look in the top left-hand corner. There's that QR code for the Patreon. But yeah, you can pop in for that on Tuesday at I think 8:30. I think we're doing it p.m. Eastern, so that you can hang out. And then I think Thursday I'm having on Doc Inferno again to talk about the years of lead in relation to Gladio, which is extremely timely as well. So, but no, nobody for Already Dead. But I have ideas. So. Good morning, Evan. Good morning. Pump up those likes, people. Good morning, Mikey Shim. Good morning. Who else we got in here? A gay blonde black called me an anti-Semite. My brain hurts, says Tony Shim. Yeah, right. Like, oh no, who fucking cares? I now support Palestinian causes, says Daniel Boone. Yep. What else we got in here? John Black thinks Erica Kirk will end up a supervillain. Her character arc is so obvious. Perhaps she will. I don't know. It'd be interesting. There's a lot of weird stuff there for sure. Messenger 911 says Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Tashkata Fools says, I have video from the back. No blood, no holes. Add me on X and I'll send it to you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know your account. So, like, if you, I don't know, tag me or something or DM me so I know who you are, then yeah. I mean, if you can find, yeah. I mean, if you somehow actually do have a video from the back, I doubt it. I don't think that was a thing that exists, but I'm down for that. Who else we got? Who else? Let me see who else is in here. Holly Handjobs says Nevsky. Yep. Good morning, DWS. Everything's fake and gay, including Brylan. So I'm, yep. Good morning, Stall. It says supposedly Brylan's dad made money from building Section 8 housing. Yes, I've heard that too. Yep. Literally government hookup. Bump those likes up. Only 27 likes in the chat, as I heard 20 minutes ago. Step that shit up. Kirk is from the Old Norse word for church. Holy Hand is Jewish. Gematria is Messiah, aka Meshiach. Can you imagine? I mean, I will say Holy Hand, he would make a good, like, over-the-top Antichrist figure. He really would. If, like, they just Astroturf him the whole way through. If you're not doing... Because it's always, like... Do you do, like, deceptive, seductive Antichrist and that, like, oh, the world loves him? Or is it like a flip on that where it's like Astroturf, he's clearly evil, but you're like, for some reason, you're like, people fall for it, you know, like the Astroturf vibe. Says, don't say Ben Shapiro, Megan. I think you knew where that one was going. Good morning, Taffy Rumble says, absolute MILF. I don't care if she's retarded. Yup. I know she's pretty cute. I'll give you that. She is a cutie. Not my type, but she is cute. Who else? Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good to see you in here. Good morning, Chuck Bam. Good morning, Nemo. Said, yo, Jose, did you see the Howard Rubin arrest on Friday? Jewish millionaire finance guy who worked with Soros, accused of abusing women in a sex dungeon. He also worked at Bear Stearns, although at a different time than when Epstein was working there. Yeah, I saw that. I was going to talk about today. We'll probably save that for later in the week. We just have too much going on. That was less time dependent, so I figured we'll save that for later in the week. But yeah, almost did that. What else we got? Good morning, F-Web. Did we bomb Iran again? Not yet. We'll get there. Did I look into Pogo/Zephyr, says Black Eye? I feel like I did a long time ago, but I forget. So let me see. All right, let's get into the next topic. The next stuff. All right, let's look at, I guess before we get into, let's watch this. This is the kind of leaning into, to kind of set the stage for this next topic, how we're, this Kirk Scrubfest. Let's see, let's listen to this.
It's like really bothering me that there are people out there even suggesting that Charlie's security team was somehow, you know, lackluster or involved, like insanely involved with something. Like absolutely not. The Charlie security team we've known for many, many years. They are like brothers with Charlie. We have an elite force of people who are supporting Charlie at all times. And had they even known or suspected that there would be even an element of danger that day in Utah, they wouldn't even let him out of the car, off the plane, you know, into public life. Every single event that's held is a combination of our security team working with the local police. In this case, on university campuses, it's the university police. The university police department is responsible. There's a line that is drawn, right, where there's personal protection for Charlie versus protection for the campus in this case, or if it's out in, you know, the world, the city, or whatever, right? In this case, for Utah Valley University, their responsibility was to protect the campus, all of the perimeter, rooftops, everything else. When we go out in public, our team handles those things where there isn't a police department to work with or do that with. So whether it's a drone program or covering all those angles or perimeter, they do all that. But when you're having to work with partners who are responsible for those elements, you know, you're depending on them. There are some elements here where it's like there are people asking, well, why wasn't this? Well, that wasn't Charlie's team. Charlie's team would have done anything and everything, particularly if it was completely within our purview. And they did an incredible and impeccable job at all times, always covering Charlie. I mean, they were the first people that were trying to save Charlie's life when he was assassinated, and doing all of that. They love that man inside and out, right?
Yeah.
And they would do this, and not just for Charlie, but for anyone on our team. And they would take a bullet, jump in front of a car, do anything that they possibly could. And so we're praying for them. We hope that everybody is praying for them, because they're being unfairly targeted by people who online who are making suggestions, like really wild, crazy suggestions that are not even possibly remotely true. And that's really hard on people who are that love and care so much for a person. And again, too, I feel bad for other officers that were involved with this, right? That were maybe part of the department and things like that. Obviously, there's some really significant and dramatic lessons to be learned that are coming out of this. A really competent drone program, for example, would have saved Charlie's life, right? And that should be the standard protocol on every single campus. Without question, there should be eyes on every rooftop at all times, like with everything. We'll see what happens with the investigation and what comes out on all of that, and how this tragedy unfolded. The guy is in custody, and he's going to be going to trial, and all this is going to come out. So, we're waiting just like everybody else to find out.
You are right. All of this will come out. And on that, here's from Ken. He reported Charlie Kirk security team shorted previous firm for 2P USA contract owner says. In the wake of the September 10th assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, Utah Valley University Police Chief Jeff Long said he had 6 officers working the event, plus some plainclothes officers in the crowd. However, the identity of Kirk's private security team remained unreported until now. On Saturday, Schaefer Security Group, which worked Turning Point USA events from 2015 to 2022, posted on Twitter/X that the firm guarding Kirk on September 10th was Rockhouse Integrity Group, which does business under the name Integrity Security Solutions. And here's the tweet in question. It said Schaefer Security Group deleted tweet hours later, but its owner, former FBI agent Greg Schaefer, reiterated the information when reached by phone Saturday night. So the individuals who work for that company, Integrity Security Solutions, were the ones on the stage, Schaefer told Headline USA. Schaefer further said that Integrity Security Solutions founder Brian Harpole and TP USA security director Dan Flood both used to work with him until they stabbed him in the back. Dan Flood headed up security for Turning Point USA, and Brian Harpole is his best friend. Brian worked with me for 7 years, and then Brian started his own company and then shorted me on the contract for Turning Point USA, Schaefer said. That's how they got the contract. When asked whether he had a falling out with Flood and Harpole, Schaefer said with a chuckle, "No, just got stabbed in the back by some friends." Schaefer declined to comment further, other than to say he's 100% confident that the group that provided security, or 100% confident that was the group that provided security for Kirk that day. TP USA, including its security director Flood and Integrity Security Solutions, did not respond to numerous requests for comment, including about whether they still work for the conservative organization. Integrity Security Solutions appears to have wiped much of its presence from the internet. Its apparent website links to Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn pages that have all been deleted. Flood's page on the TPUSA website is also no longer active. It was last archived on the Wayback Machine on July 21st, meaning that the page was still on TPUSA's main site until quite recently. Flood is still listed on TPUSA's staff member page. Integrity Security Solutions business formation records lists the number of Eric Sardina, who describes himself as a business and life coach. The company's records don't state what Sardina's position is, but he's clearly affiliated with Harpole. Sardina had Harpole on his podcast in June 2022 to discuss the latter's career in law enforcement. Harpole was a police officer for 14 years, working in criminal and drug interdiction, a tactical unit, a bicycle unit, and other roles during that time, according to the podcast show notes. Meanwhile, questions still linger about why the rooftop allegedly used by assassination suspect Tyler Robinson as a sniper perch was unguarded. On September 20th, reporter Taylor Hansen published a video of him walking up a flight of steps to the rooftop, demonstrating how easy it was to gain access to the area. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said earlier this month that he doesn't know why the roof was unguarded. It's fairly easy for me to Monday morning quarterback anyone. I have done events with Charlie, quite a few, and I always found a security team to be very professional. I did a Turning Point event where I joked that they had better magnometers than I saw at the Secret Service, Bongino said on Megyn Kelly's podcast. Why, in this case, was the roof uncovered? I can't say. I think in the future at political events, regardless of who's speaking, I think there's going to be a significant change in security posture going forward. So that's all there is to that. So obviously, sketchy. These people just no longer exist, basically. And yeah. So obviously, there's the roof thing. Now, we did watch the video before that they seem to shirk off a lot of the blame on the university. And I've seen other places reporting that. I don't know the truth of that. The idea of that, like, oh, you know, it was a university's responsibility to do it. But either way, just the disappearing of this entity into the dust does seem to be a little suspicious. Also, as Ken himself points out, he says Kirk fans should be wondering why an outsider like me, Ken, broke this story. Surely the journalists close to TPUSA knew about the private security. They kept their mouths shut instead of reporting damning information, probably because they wanted to maintain access to power. Not good. So, yeah, I don't think they're doing a good job on keeping this information quiet. And then more on the scrubbing side of things, I've had, hey, thanks for tagging me these, Black Eye, but we have, I don't know, it's looking a little fishy, more fishiness on the why am I having a hard time with that word? Dairy Queen side of things with Tyler Robinson.
Well, we're at 1545. Is that a Dairy Queen sign? Interestingly enough, it looks like it's been totally taken apart. Got cleaning buckets everywhere and so forth. And it's right across, by the way, from Brigham Young University, right across from the stadium. Right. So my point is, there's the football stadium. There's cameras all over here. The FBI should be able to easily say what the path was for Robinson to get to the airport, or the Dodge Challenger. Should be flock cameras all along here.
Well, as this guy points out, should be cameras all over the place. And then also, what the hell's going on with this Dairy Queen? Well, I guess he went to another Dairy Queen just to check. So here's another one.
Okay, hello everyone. This is the Orem Dairy Queen, not the Provo one that I was at earlier. This is a little bit farther. This is about 5.9 miles to Charlie Kirk, just right up the street from the Timpaganos Hospital, by the way. But this one looks more like the one he was at in the picture, but I'm going to explain my theory here. But again, look at the cars, look at all the businesses. You would have cameras all over the place here, right? You would have all kinds of hits here on the Great Challenger. If you drove the Great Challenger, you can see the tile is the darker color, right? I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see the place where he ordered up there. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but where he ordered. And then you can see over here, there's a wall that had some TVs on it. Those TVs are gone. But he could have met here. I'm not saying this isn't the place. This is the one that Candace thought it was. And it could be. I don't really care which one it is. I just want the FBI to be honest with us and tell us which one it is, rather than citizen journalists having to leg it out 3 weeks later. This should have been something that would have been cleared up in the first day or two. Okay, you have him traveling on a Dodge Challenger, right? So that shouldn't be too hard. Here's a car. Here's a lot full of cars, right? Start with the gray ones, right? and then see if they're challengers or not, and say, hey, I see him leaving at this time. He's driving back to, to St. George. Here he is on all the flock cameras as he's hitting him, as he's going back to St. George. Here's exactly what time. So build a timeline, in other words. Kash Patel should be doing this, right? But let's suppose that you didn't want to be tracked. Let's suppose you wanted to get to that Provo airport. Let's say the airplane was the getaway. If the airplane was the getaway, I think I could see it here. This Y of BYU makes a natural meet point. Can't quite see it from here. Yeah, you can, a little bit to the side. That Y over there of the BYU Dairy Queen is a natural meet point. And if I wanted to throw off the FBI, if I wanted to get the FBI off my trail, I would give this to Turning Point USA. I would give them this location. I would even have Tyler eat here, but I would meet at a different location. Whichever one it is, it's in Paganos Hospital, 2 miles that way, by the way, not too far. Whichever location it is, my point here is I'm making $8 a month as a paid subscriber, right? $8 a month. Why is it up to me to do this 3 weeks later? I waited, right? Why can't Kash Patel come out and say, hey, we not only have him here at this time, we have him here, and there's 20 points. There's 20 points in the line. We know exactly when he went back to St. George. I don't think they know. I don't think Kash Patel knows when Tyler Robinson went back to St. George, and we're here to find out.
I think he's cooking with fire. I think he's right. What the fuck is going on? Why do we? If he did meet at some Dairy Queen, he's just pointing out like, yeah, why? What it was? There's no security cameras. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe there's some reasoning why we wouldn't see this yet. I mean, the funny thing is we always get these like excuses. They're like, oh, give it time. Like they're doing their investigation right now. They don't want to this or that. And you're like, yeah, but look at all the crazy shit they've said already, completely spiking whatever investigation they have. So that doesn't seem to make sense. But yeah, anyways, and then more just on scrubbing. Here, let's watch this.
Piece, Charlie Kirk. Hey guys, so this week I've been doing my own little off-piece Charlie Kirk investigation. Many of you guys have been following along. I've connected a lot of dots between the CIA, the LDS community, the Utah Valley University system, and academic centers in Israel, like the Jerusalem Center and Ariel University. I think I've kind of like reached the end of my investigation, and also I'm like kind of getting nervous. Like I couldn't sleep last night at all. But my main question now is, and I would like to turn it over to the authorities, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, this is kind of like for you to answer now. There was a CIA professor at Utah Valley University, Rusty Needs. He was with the CNSS. I saw his bio, his photo just a few days ago, like 2 days ago. I took this picture from the website. I got his bio, everything, and he has now like disappeared. I can't find it anywhere online. If anyone can find it, please let me know. I did have this, which is still on the Facebook page. Anyway, where is Rusty Needs? Hashtag where is Rusty Needs? The CIA agent that works at Utah Valley University. Why has he gone ghost online? Okay, what do you guys think? Comment below. Hey guys, okay, this is a follow-up to my video yesterday on Rusty Needs, the CIA professor at Utah Valley University whose profile has gone missing. Okay, I did this video yesterday and now AI is saying that these people don't exist. The 6 people that I named don't exist and it's all fiction. Does anybody know if any of these people are real people at Utah Valley University? Okay, so I used AI to search the Wayback Machine, and here are the dates and removals. So his profile was fully accessible on September 24th, 2025, but taken down between September 24th and September 26th. He looks to be the first taken down, followed by 6 others, also in the CNSS spy school or tied to campus security. These include Dr. Elena Vasquez, National Security Policy Whiz, Professor Mark Harlan, Counterintelligence Ethics Expert, Sarah Klein, Event Logistics Liaison, Jamal Reed, Track Coach with Security Ties, T. Ramirez, Intelligence Simulations Analyst, and L. Patel, Event Planning Coordinator. Now, get this. Yesterday, I got a message from @HumanitiesGirly on TikTok saying, hey, so they removed the entire UVU directory from the internet to protect faculty and staff. It's not just him, it's everyone. And then instantly she went ghost. Her profile said not found. So now everyone's profile is down. CNSS Rusty's department definitely contributed to Kirk event planning via briefings, but Utah Valley Police ran the security. Also interesting is that at the same time that those 7 profiles were dropped from the website, President Tuminas quietly removed her significant ties to Zion's Bank and Carnegie. What do you guys think? Comment below.
What the fuck? That was a lot. Holy shit. Okay, I didn't watch that one. Like I told you. Okay, wow, wow. I'm probably gonna save that because that's a. Holy shit. Okay, obviously I haven't verified any of this, but if that's legit, holy balls. So essentially the crux of it here is that, there was a professor there where Kirk was assassinated. He was formerly in the CIA, I guess. So I mean, I'm going to have to rewatch that again later because holy shit. And then I guess his profile got removed around September 25th, I think they said. So it would be after the assassination. And then we got 6 others as well. And then I guess also the professor himself, or no, his profile has gone missing. So yeah, 6 others. Alina Vasquez, National Security Policy. Professor Mark Harlan, Counter Intel Ethics Expert. Sarah Klein, Event Logistics Liaison. Then Jamal Reed, I guess, was a track coach, but had security ties. T. Ramirez, Intelligence Simulations Analyst. And then an event planning coordinator. All right. Wow. Okay. That's something, huh? All right. Shit. I mean, this kind of ties into our next topic too with the Mormon stuff, but we'll get into that. Let's take a moment, pop in the chat, check in with y'all. It's been a second. Good morning, Marnamac. First I'm seeing you here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Yo Daddy. Says Jizreel murdered him and blind inbred Jay can see that. Good morning, DWS. They're about to infiltrate you. That's why it's glitching on your end. Oh, I guess people are saying I'm glitching. Yup, it's the Jews. They did it. That's why my internet's being gay. All right. Oh yeah, Uncle Ted saying Kirk's wife dad is head of the Iron Dome project of Raytheon. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that in my previous coverage. That was something that came out later that I heard of. That apparently Kirk's wife's dad supposedly is the head of the Iron Dome project, Israel's Iron Dome project for Raytheon. Good morning, Noname. Good morning. Saying good afternoon to Jose and the Dumpers. Good morning. Good morning. Seth said, I don't know this guy very well, but he spent too long on the water tower theory during the Butler assassination. What guy? What guy did I play? It was a 1234. Who did I play before this? I forget who you're talking about there. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Base Kothar. Good to see you here. And you're saying I'll take all journalism we can get our hands on, though. I'm just suspicious of people helping pile on bad theories. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know who you're talking about, though. I don't know. Were you talking about Ken? I don't think if you're talking about Ken, I don't think he spent too much time in the water tower. He covered it just to track it. You kind of have to track every little angle with any sort of deep event. So maybe you're talking about somebody else. I forget who I had on. Okay. Good morning, Uncle Ted. Good morning. Good morning. Marnamac says Candace claims Tyler wasn't even on the UVU campus. Should be revealing it on her show today. Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks for reminding me of that. I forgot about that little tidbit. So we'll probably be covering whatever the claims are there tomorrow. So yeah. What else we got? All right. Yeah, Jimmy Crickets, that's insane. Yeah, that shit is nuts, right? All right, let's get into our final topic for today. See if we can't try to keep it under 2 hours. We'll stay. All right, a couple things I just want to let you guys know just are out there. I don't plan on doing any sort of in-depth analysis of it right now, but these are kind of, I think, wild things, and I think the commentary I think right now is that we're just being flooded with crazy like deep events, these like mind altering, like over the top, like get you being like to, oh my God, this or that, jarring type events. And then meanwhile, we're getting kind of also a fire hose of, I guess you could say, truthiness. So for example, the FBI disclosed to Congress on the 25th. So was it Thursday? on Thursday, last Thursday, and probably most of you guys don't even know this, that apparently they disclosed that it embedded 275 plainclothes agents in the January 6th crowds. So, and I believe they claimed it was they put them beforehand or something. There were some people who tried to give some weird, like, well, they did this and not that. And I'm pretty sure they literally had almost 300 people literally in the crowds ready to go beforehand. That's basically what they're saying. So we might dig into this more later, but I just find it interesting, these crazy mind or like narrative shifting revelations that we were receiving just kind of flippantly while other, crazy revelations are occurring, or essentially it seems like essentially the entire kitchen sink is being thrown at us is what it feels like. Like whoever is running things is either freaking the fuck out and like just throwing everything at it, or they're running some crazy fucking like final play where they're just doing like they're just crushing. I don't know. It seems too much going on to me. It seems too haphazard. But I mean, we got that going on. We also got Mike Johnson apparently is refusing currently. This is the last I've heard of it. I don't know what anything's changed, just because this is obviously very fluid. The last I heard, he was refusing to swear in the newest person, the newest Democrat, Adelita Grijalva. There you go. Who last week won the Arizona Congress District 7, which essentially was the deciding vote for these Epstein files. So essentially the idea is he's holding out, and apparently he only has to hold out, I guess a few days. When was this written? This was written the 26th. So I think it'd be a day now. So I guess I'll have to check up on that and see if anything's changed. But apparently we're getting ready to, we may be hitting a government shutdown. I don't know. You guys tell me in the chat if we've averted that, but I haven't really been paying attention to it. But if you are trying to anticipate, I mean, remember the last time things were really heating up on Epstein, and then they went and took their little break, and then we came back, and then, now we're back to doing things, and then, Charlie Kirk died, and then, shit, now government shutdown. So it just seems to be something every time. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. My point being, don't be surprised if we get a government shutdown here soon. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't fucking give two shits about the government shutting down. I hate the government, but man, do they find a way to conveniently time things, huh? And then also with all this Epstein stuff going on, actually let's watch this video. Let me see if I can find the video first, 'cause I think this is a good little way to kind of set the tone for this little bit right here. So let me see if I can find it. Let's go and play it.
I believe 150 years ago or so.
By the way, I think this is the same guy we saw recently saying that denying that Mossad had anything to do with Kirk because they don't ever do political assassinations or whatever. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. That's a different guy. This is Naftali Bennett. This is a former prime minister. I'm thinking of the spook. Let's go and play this.
I believe 150 years ago or so, there was a pamphlet called The Protocols of Zion, which suggested that the Jews are sitting in some dark room and conniving how to control the world. And it spread fairly well even without Facebook. But now with the social media, the latest things that every day it hits you, like mainstream people in America will suggest that Israel stands behind the murder of Charlie Kirk. Mainstream people will suggest that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. In fact, when I saw this happening, the Mossad reported to me. In Israel, the Mossad and Shin Bet report directly to the prime minister, whereas the IDF reports to the entire government. So I said, I know this is not true. I actually called up two former Mossad chiefs just to be sure, and one former prime minister, and they all said this is nonsense. So I posted, I believe it was it Tucker Carlson or someone who was beginning to spread that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. I said that it's simply not. He wasn't. By the way, Israel doesn't conduct espionage on American soil since 1985. Where we messed up with the Pollard affair. So every day you're
guys, don't worry, they stopped after Jonathan Pollard.
Faced with it, and it's so crazy that you lose your breath. But we can't stand silent. This is a huge worry. I believe that the state of Israel, to some degree, it has responsibility for the Jewish people, even if they are not our own citizens.
All right, so we got this going on. We got essentially, the idea that he's saying Jeffrey Epstein is saying, oh, well, people are saying Jeffrey Epstein's a Mossad agent. That's what I really wanted to hone in on this. But obviously another person hemming and hawing, oh, we didn't have anything to do with Kirk. But this is what I want to look at. New documents from Epstein's estate detailing his daily schedule. These show meetings from Steve Bannon, Peter Thiel, and a potential visit to Epstein's Island for Elon Musk. Prince Andrew is listed as a passenger on Epstein's jet. DOJ must release the Epstein files now. One little interesting thing, kind of this, in alluding to his connections to Israel and what that may mean. Here is Ryan Grimm posted this. It says in Drop Site News today, we have a new story revealing that not only did Jeffrey Epstein broker deals for former Israeli government officials, those operations were also sometimes in direct service of the Israeli government itself. It says our first in a series looks at the security deal he helped strike between Israel and Mongolia. Here's the excerpt from the article here. It says Jeffrey Epstein used his political network and financial resources to help broker a security cooperation agreement between the governments of Israel and Mongolia, according to a trove of leaked emails between Ehud Barak, who's a former Israeli prime minister, or leaked emails from. This new set of emails between Barak and Epstein has largely been ignored by the mainstream press, but includes crucial new context on Epstein's operation. It is well known that Epstein had personal ties to Israel, including to senior political officials like Barak and Ehud Olmert, and that he donated to organizations like Friends of the IDF. But Epstein's activities in Mongolia show for the first time that he facilitated a deal that led to a security agreement between Israel and other nations. The leaked emails were released by Handala, a pro-Palestinian hacking group with speculated ties to Iran. The documents were posted by Distributed Denial of Secrets. Now, I do find it particularly, if you do want to get very conspiratorial, that I do find it interesting Elon's included in this, and he's the one also kind of being nudged currently for this campaign, this influence campaign. So we'll see if this will touch X. But I find it interesting that, like, oh, right again, once as we get, oh shit, some big news dropping. What we got? Elon Musk. We got more prime minister connections. We got Peter Thiel connections. We got Bannon connections. And then when all that happens, well, then we get hit so hard that we have now entered the realm of David Hogg Northwoods posting. That's where we're at. There were a couple attacks over the weekend. We'll get into those. So yeah, we are at, I know I feel disrespected. We have David Hogg posting about Operation Northwoods. I just feel gross about this, that this is where we're at now. Well, fuck you, David. We've been posting this for a while. I'm glad you're on it, I guess. You know, it's like that moment when the person you hate gets something right. You're like, oh, fucking yeah, you're right, but fuck you. So that's where we're at now. This is where we're at. But for one of them, this is a police respond to active shooter reports in North Carolina coast reported. This is from last week. Apparently, there's this restaurant here on the shore. Essentially, got shot up. It says mass casualty event reported with multiple people injured or worse. People reporting at least 3 fatalities. This is obviously yesterday the reporting. So we'll have more. But chaos broke out at the Southport Yacht Basin Saturday night after shots were fired from a moving boat into a crowd of people near the American Fish Company restaurant in Southport, North Carolina. The alleged boat, which fired indiscriminate, took off. According to an official post from the city of Southport around 9:50 p.m., there is an unknown number of injuries, and the suspect had not yet been caught as of 10:30. So, okay, obviously they've caught him now. We're about to get into that. And then, so this is who they're saying it was, this Nigel Max guy. So there's a suspect arrested for mass shooting at Southport, North Carolina restaurant, identified as Nigel Edge. You can see the guy here. You can see him, kind of looking like a meth head. And so here's Kalani Pingosh posting about it. He's saying, a wounded Marine sniper who legally changed his name to Nigel Max Edge and who was diagnosed with schizophrenia/PTSD stemming from a friendly fire gunshot wound to the head suffered in Iraq. Edge self-published a book on Amazon titled Headshot, Betrayal of a Nation, Truth Hurts, alleging he's been pursued by a white supremacist LGBTQ pedophile ring that conspired to murder him during his deployment. He allegedly shot up a stretch of restaurants from a boat on the water off the Southport shoreline, killing multiple. This may be a picture of the man, formerly Sean William de Beauvois, in his formal regalia and holding a medical model of plates that were put in his skull following his injuries suffered in the line of duty. It's Dave McGowan and Pinchins, Nigel Max Edge, and De Beauvois, I hate that name, world, and we're just living in it. I mean, as anyone who's read any conspiratorial mind control anything, and we're seeing a former military member who got killed or not got hurt in combat and had to get a metal plate put in his head. Man, oh man, you should be a tingling. If you've ever read a goddamn thing about any of these things, you should go, what? What? Yeah, that's the guy. He also, he accompanied Kelly Pickler to the CMT Music Awards. Kelly Pickler was a country music singer. So here's a photo of them attending, allegedly them, going to some CMT thing. So yeah, wild stuff. Yeah, and then let me see more on this. Here is some more stuff from his Facebook account. His one account sort of posting some stuff he had, some of his nonsense he was posting. You can go here. He's posting shit about some guy that he thinks is, and it's bizarre. I mean, you go through his account, you see some of the weird stuff he was posting about. These are things. I don't know. These are weird stuff. I think these are things actually came from previous court filings that he filed. But yeah, this guy was an odd fellow for sure. Something was going on with him. Who else do we got here? Here's from Michael Tracy. This is actually the one I was looking for. Sorry if I seemed a little awkward there. I went to the wrong tab. Here's Michael Tracy. So the man who opened fire in a bar in North Carolina last night, killing 3, is a former Marine who said he suffered severe brain injuries in Iraq. This summer, he tried to file a lawsuit against the U.S. government, elaborate Epstein pedo conspiracy was behind 9/11. Yeah, those things I was just showing you, I think, were like submissions for his lawsuit. But we'll just read this instead of going through all that, because you really can't even make sense of it. It's craziness. What I'm about to read here is just some posts, or I think it's from his Facebook. So it's a Facebook post or part of it. So, but yeah, as a victim of human trafficking / pedophilia by authorities within the Epstein scandal, unknown to the plaintiff until recent due to hidden cameras and LGBTQT code. Applying LGBTQT code to the plaintiff's life, multiple hate crimes and exploitations made in the plaintiff's life have been exposed. The plaintiff was aware of LGBTQT's existence until its discovery. The entire world was led to believe the attacks on 9/11 were developed by terrorists. A generation of innocent Americans and Iraqi civilians have been exploited in a human genocide, contributing to pedophilia. America is now known as a country that engineers elaborate plans coordinated with pedophiles to exploit children in the film industry, then murder them before discovery of what their life was intended for. No benefit toward themselves. Meaning tracked, exploited, and murdered previous discovery of anything. The plaintiff knows this because that is what he has survived. See, it makes no sense. This once again, this feels like, I mean, I'm not saying this is the case. This feels like some AI shit. Hey, make some conspiracy theorists having some sort of schizophrenic break. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe he is just having a schizophrenic break. Although the plaintiff is seeking justice for what he survived, all participants, defendants, judges, and citizens involved should be supportive of this case in its horrific and disgraceful nature for the betterment of the human race. Simply stated, applying LGBTQT code to nearly everything pertaining to this case reveals the truth and real motives behind events instead of the original narrative of events the public was forced to listen to. Similarly, how the plaintiff could not understand the events. Yeah, I feel like I'm losing my mind reading this. It makes no fucking sense. But these are sort of shit that's said on his page. These are the sort of weird scrawlings you would find. Not weird at all, right? Not weird at all. I think it's worth mentioning too with the Kelly Pickler thing that to keep in mind this is an this implies heavily that he's wasn't just some dude. As this guy says, Nigel Max attending the music awards with Kelly Pickler is notable because the DoD works closely with shows like American Idol to plug in contestants and promote the military. So this wouldn't just be a matter of Max organically asking Kelly out on a date. It would be more likely to be a stunt coordinated by the DoD to promote the Wounded Warrior Project or something similar. The implication, I guess, being that Max's relationship with the DoD being more significant than him being a random troop, which I think there's something to that. Perhaps it does seem you're not just going to be just some scrub and get this sort of hookup. So, and then on to the other one, we have a attack on a Mormon church over the weekend. It's a 40-year-old male attacked a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, Michigan, ramming his vehicle through the doors, opening fire with an assault rifle, and deliberately setting the building on fire. One victim is confirmed dead, 9 are wounded, and police warn more bodies may be found once the fire is extinguished. The suspect has been neutralized. So here is the Mormon church, which obviously we're talking Michigan here, but I can't help but not in my mind go a tingling. And we've had multiple Mormon hotspot stuff going on. I mean, we just had the Charlie Kirk stuff that we were just talking about. Utah is a hot spot for Mormons. This is why everybody thinks that university, or part of why everyone kind of points to that university being incredibly glowy, is it's like they're known for, Mormons are known for being frequently fronts for intelligence agencies. And then you add into it the university at that area at which there are constantly individuals who are fronts for intelligence agencies. It's kind of just a perfect recipe for a university that has programs that helps train such people who work for intelligence agencies. So, and then now we have these other weird, domestic terrorism, I guess you could say, attacks occurring within the homeland. One of them, I can't help but notice, also happening to Mormons. And I don't know. Odd that now they burnt the place too. So I don't know. Burning's is a commonly well-known way to get rid of evidence. So I just find that interesting. Apparently, and then also I just want to point out with the Mormon connections, apparently also, which I don't know, apparently their leader, the longtime leader, Russell M. Nelson, died at 101, which he was 101. So let's be real, it's about that time. So I'm not necessarily saying, but it is interesting at least that all this going on at the same time. So, and apparently they've seemingly identified this person as Thomas Jacob Sanford, a 40-year-old U.S. Marine and veteran of the Iraq War. So another veteran, much like the other guy was a veteran, Nigel Edge. Here's from Amy Meck. It says, facts we know so far about the Michigan church attacker. Thomas Jacob Sanford, 40, from Burton, Michigan, a U.S. Marine veteran, served from 2004 to 2008. Apparently had a wife and a kid. Apparently in 2015, there was an online fundraiser created to support his son's rare medical condition, congenital hyperinsulinism. So this happened on Friday. Happened at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan. Happened at 10:25 a.m. Apparently there were hundreds of worshipers were present when this happened. The church was engulfed in a massive blaze during or after the attack. We're still as of when I heard about this, or most recently, we're still kind of waiting for more information to come out. With aerial footage showing a huge plume of black smoke, investigators believe Sanford deliberately set the fire. So what they're thinking happened so far is they used a Chevy vehicle to ram into the building, armed with a semi, planted multiple IEDs on the church property. And the last I had heard, this is from I think over a day old. This is actually from yesterday at 5. So there were 2 fatalities and 9 wounded at that point. Apparently the shooter died at the scene with a shootout with the police. So they discovered several IEDs on the property. They believe the use of a vehicle, firearm, and IED shows premeditation, sophistication. Apparently, there were some people I saw these the people. I knew this guy, or I talked to him, and I've heard some murmurs about some sort of radicalization against Mormons or something. Don't know what to make of all this. This is all super early. This is one of these people. This guy right here supposedly spoke to him. I'm not going to play that, but he's one of the people who said, had some sort of hatred towards Mormons. So, yeah, and then to kind of put a little bow on all of this, I just find it interesting on this whole, this stupid back and forth. Oh, is it a lefty? Is it a righty? Everyone comes in. Oh, is he lefty? Is he righty? Oh, is he this? Is he that? Well, I think Kalani Pingosh put it together right here pretty well. He says, putting together a trans furry radical left Antifa Hamas team, and he shows all these pictures. I think that's kind of the point, and I think there's something to be said there, even with this censorship thing and this AstroTurf campaign coming down the pike. Keep in mind, I think this is kind of what they're aiming at. This sphere. I kind of joked a few times, haha, I feel in danger. I know they were like, oh, we're targeting leftists, we're this. I'm like, I'm reading this stuff, and I'm like, sounds to fuck like you're targeting me. I'm reading these things, this this new directive. I'm seeing the patsies being churned out, and I'm going, oh shit, you're targeting me. You're targeting my people. That's who you're targeting. I'm not even saying lefty. These are, generic, 25 to 35, maybe a little bit online, maybe a little, just kind of this. I see these four people, and I don't see, this lefty. He makes a good point here. I think especially these last couple too. I think people should. I don't know. Maybe they're sneaking these ones into the end to kind of get to the buy-in. It just seems weird to me. I don't know. Are people really still leaning into the lefty terrorism shit? Because I don't know. It seems to me like they're trying to get their nihilism, whatever the fuck they were trying to get before. I think they're slipping it in with this lefty nonsense to get all the dumb righties to go, okay. And they're going to get in this whole essentially it's, I don't even know what to say. If you're someone with opposing beliefs to the administration, if you don't fall in line with the establishment, if you think for yourself, you should be concerned, I think. But all right, guys, let's roll with the chat, see what you guys got to say, and then we'll get on out of here. Let me see if I can find a good outro for you guys. I forgot to have one set up. I have a solid one for you guys. You guys will love this one. All right, let's roll the chat, say our last goodbyes, and then we'll get on out of here. All right, let me see. What else we got? Who's leaking these files? Is Tony Chin? I think they said it was that pro-Palestinian group, supposedly Iranian related. Although, as I pointed to, I'd be open to being Israel too, because you look at these recent revelations regarding Elon, and sometimes you think of the timing and kind of how certain people fall in line. You're like, oh, is that really Iran coming up? I don't know. I have no idea, really. Let me see. 63 people and only 19. Oh, we did get up. Yeah, hit them likes, people. We got a good amount of people in here. Hell yeah. Like, baby. What else we got in here? Good morning, Gerald Hall. It's if you read this, you're gay. God damn it, you got me. You got me. He says, Marty Mac, it all seems fake to me too. I can't distinguish reality and AI more. He's just a regular Marine, Jose. We aren't that smart, says Gerald Hall. You love the ATF if you don't hit the like button, says Bobo. Yeah, that is true. Very true. Gerald Hall says, I like the like button because I saw you advocating for us to do so. You're making impact. I sure am. And that impact is getting people to like my YouTube videos. So hit that like button, please. Let me see. John Black says there was some schizo ex-post of a plane flying over the UVU and that Michigan LDS church. Now we're talking. I'm here for that type of schizo stuff. Interesting. Boba says don't pay attention to the Navy flight hanging around Venezuela. Pay attention to church shootings continuously happening in Michigan and the LGBT community angry against Islam folks. Yeah, there actually was a story I considered reading today that was a sources say of although I think I'd already done a sources say that oh, we're getting ready to do shit in Venezuela. There was another one of those. So, yep, you're not wrong. What else we got in here? Someone asking if I follow John Cullen. No, no. Yeah, no. What else? Good morning. Good morning, Swedish Jim Goblin. Everyone, please stop saying ID. Just say explosives. It's pissing me off. Yeah, you are correct. Probably better. Good morning, John Doe. Says we are the targets after all, as disguised as whatever it is, disguised as the people are absolutely the target, 100%. They are targeting anarcho-communists. Yeah, that does seem that way, but that easily leaks over to our kind as well. So I'm not cool with that. What's the conclusion? False flag, yes or no? I don't have a conclusion. I have no conclusions. If you're asking my guess, I'd guess, yeah, probably, yeah. Everything is fake and gay, as Bobo says. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. I have a fun outro for you guys that I think you'll like. Actually, I'll play two for you. And I'll kind of lean. I think they almost could like leak one right into the other. Actually, let me get this ready. Actually, yeah, this will be fire. Butting these two up against each other. Ooh, give me a second. Sorry, you're like, what is he doing in the background? It'll be worth it. I'm telling you, it'll be worth it. All right, I hope you guys enjoy this. For those who want to support what I'm doing over here, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. You can find the show on YouTube, on Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers as well. Pretty much anywhere you get podcasts at, you can find me there. And if you want to support me in the best way you really can, do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. You see that in the top left-hand corner. You see that QR code. Go do that. And that's where at the lowest level, $2, you get access to early episodes. I do about 1 to 2 of those a week. Usually keep about 4 behind the paywall on any given time. Like I told you guys earlier, I got Nick Bryant coming on Wednesday. I'm doing a Years of Lead episode on Thursday. So these are things you could get early. And there's other content behind there as well. You also get access to the ad-free RSS feed. You also get access to Telegram, and you get access to the pre-show, post-show, and the video calls on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. The highest level are my sponsors, and I give them a big shout-out every episode. My previous co-hosts on Tower Gang, at Learned Toad, also at Abrogate D's, at Zio-fluencer at _Infazeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebo, Will Bells, Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tackless, the Yellow Polka Dot Dress, and Mark Vestibule. And with that, guys, I hope you enjoy this absolute banger. Damn it. Of course, it acted up. Give me a minute. Enjoy this banger. All right. I hope you guys like it.
But we all know why Trump hasn't released the file. We all know who got to him.
Elmo, I don't think I want to hear the answer to any of this.
John, no, hear me out, John. No, it's not. I'm just asking questions. It's not what you think.
All right, Elmo. What was it?
John? It was the Jews.
No!
Don't run your media. Someone else. If I don't run your media, someone else will. If I don't edit Wikipedia, someone else will. If I don't limit your reach, someone else will. If I don't censor speech, someone else will. If I don't blow up your kids, someone else will. If I don't attack US ships, someone else will. If I don't steal your things, someone else will. If I don't run paid or rings, it's not my fault that I have to do this. You only pick on me because I'm Jewish. Stop being a jealous loser and go get a job. I can do what I want because I'm chosen by God. If I don't steal your land, someone else will. If I don't engage in scams, someone else will. If I don't buy your politicians, someone else will. If I don't do false flag missions, someone else will. If I don't control your bank, someone else will. If I don't crush people with tanks, someone else will. If I don't make the call, someone else will. If I don't control it all, it's not my fault that I have to do this. You only pick on me because I'm Jewish. Stop being a jealous loser and go get a job. I can do
Yeah, it was fire. That shit dope.